Good morning. It's Cindy Curtis with Wednesday Words. This week it is so chilly here. Crazy for Charleston this time of year. I think we broke a record for the coldest January in the recording of weather for our area. But I can sit out on my porch. It's always really sunny, almost tolerable even in the real cold because the wind comes from the other side of the house. So I thought I would come out here and sit in the sun while get my vitamin D while I am recording. What I want to talk to us about is something that's been on my heart for this week. So I wanted to tell you that practice does not always make perfect. I remember having a dance instructor at one time who really honed that in because if you learn the step incorrectly, it's very hard to undo that. And I think that applies to all of our lives. You may have learned something when you were a child that was modeled to you by someone who also learned it when they were a child, and it was not good. You may have learned something watching someone and you missed part of what the next step was, so you don't really have it. Or have you ever tried to perhaps do a recipe or put something together and you left out a step and you aren't using the tool incorrectly? All of those things seem minor, but they can make a major difference. But what I want to tell you is you can relearn even things you've learned incorrectly. Even something you've been doing for decades can be relearned. It takes time and it takes focus, but though it's worth it. The effort is worth it. It may take you practicing and practicing and practicing before you make any progress, so you can't give up. But it's not impossible to relearn how to do something the right way. And one small change is going to make a huge difference. And it's worth the struggle. When you're looking at, usually when I get into high stress times of life, when I have lots on my to-do list, when I have things that they don't seem to line up with the 24 hours in the day, there's no way I can get them all done. That is when I go back to that learned behavior that does not serve me well. That is when I will immediately take a little nagging thing into high anxiety, and I am then in a spiral, and then I'm adding insult to injury, so to speak, because I'm making no progress. So I've tried something that's really helped me that I'd like to share with you, and what it is small steps. So make one small change. And this is my small change. First of all, I have to recognize that I am about to spiral out. And usually for me, I'm getting better and better at doing that sooner rather than later. Sometimes an accountability partner will help. Sometimes my husband is great at that, just saying, let that go. You don't need to worry about that. Or can you let that go? And that helps me to say, wow, that's just what I needed to hear. But I can also tell myself that. Can I let that go? So I pause and I take a walk. And if it's too nasty outside to walk, or too cold, or it's raining or something, just go sit and be still. After that time where my brain has had a chance to process, to be still, to not be doing any spiraling or any thinking, then I have three choices. I can act, I can react, or I can wait. And then I can set that cycle up as many times as I need. Most of the things that I have made to be super urgent, that must be done now, as long as it's not life and death, it can wait. I make them super urgent, but they might not even need to be there. So I want to just reassure you that when practice doesn't make perfect, it's probably because you've learned or picked up a habit that you need to let go of. And to remind you again that you can unlearn something. Don't tell yourself you can't. I'm just this way. It's too late for me to change. It's never too late for you to change. something that also inspires me and helps me tremendously is to trust God and to give it over to Him and admit that I can't do it without His help. I just surrender it to God and say, you know, I need to do this, God, and I need you to help me do it because I'm too weak to do it on my own. I hope you have a great week, and I'll talk with you next time.